Consciousness with Kiana Sage. I am Kiana. I align people to peace. I do that through a process called energy psychology. That's physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual alignment. When we're running energy, which we all are energetic beings, we have patterns that are running in each body that we have, and it's important to have alignment. That alignment of those energy bodies creates congruency within. So this is the Being in Sync 366 video series where I have been providing information and live streams almost every day this year, sharing about the natural laws, practices that you can apply within to help you align physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. And today I'm talking about distinctions of neutrality. And I'm just gonna wait about 5 minutes for notifications to go out and for people to jump on here. But this idea or concept of neutrality, a lot of people struggle with. So I thought it was really be people to have some nuances. Hey, Eric. Have some nuances that help people align to expanding consciousness. So when you are neutral, then you can expand in consciousness much faster, easier, and with zero resistance, right? So good to see you, Eric. I am doing good. I'm having my morning coffee. It's still morning here, and I have a busy afternoon, so I thought I'd come in earlier. You know, the schedule's different with the holidays, so I woke up this morning. I did a cold plunge because I have a little bit of a headache, and I don't know if you guys have been feeling the pressure. The energy is quite intense these last few days. I know a lot of people are familiar with energy, but they don't really always assign their physical disruptions to the energies that are changing, but I'm definitely feeling it. How are you, Eric? Looks like we're going to have a small group today. Let's see if we have a group at all. Whoever shows up, you know. I've started this with nobody coming to the lives, and now, you know, hello. Like one. Hey, you know, it doesn't matter. We do our best to serve, and whoever resonates. You know, I am all too familiar that not everybody resonates with consciousness and expanding in consciousness. A lot of people don't even know what consciousness is. For a matter of fact, a lot of people don't even know that they have a soul. So, you know, I know that this channel is not for the masses. It's for the select few who want to rise above the chaos that's happening outside in the world. Oh, thank you. Oi, I like that. Good to see you all here. Hi, Mick. Thank you. Good to see you. I appreciate it. It's early. I'm just waiting here for a few minutes and then we'll start. Today we're talking about the distinctions of neutrality as part 3 of this Expanding in Consciousness series. And I know I've talked about these topics at different times throughout the year, but these topics are really intense topics that it's really important to just like take it another layer. So I know I've talked about the importance of neutrality, also known as the 0 point frequency, also known as the God frequency. People call things all kinds of things, but neutrality is an access point into expansion, which is why it's part of the Expanding in Consciousness series. So there we have it. Mick, the channel has changed so much over the year, huh? Somebody's saying my language is different. Okay. I would say your language is different. You are language different. Some might say how you are saying that is different. It's okay. It's good. We embrace differences here. Okay, so it's been about 5 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and start talking about the distinctions of neutrality. So the first thing is that, oh, thank you. Thank you, Mick. Okay, so the first thing that I thought would be helpful for people to understand about neutrality is that you don't think you're neutral. You either are or you are not. But it's not a thinking process, it's an experiential process. It's a being process. Hi, Zoya. Lovely to see you, Zoya. I thought you had a lot of questions yesterday, Zoya, and you ghosted me. It's okay. Okay, so we're talking about distinctions in neutrality, and I was just starting to say about that neutrality is an experience. So it is not a thinking process as much as it is an experiential process. So also another distinction to understand about neutrality is that neutrality is like no thoughts. There's no thing. There's no attachments. There's just this suspension, if you will, in time. It kind of feels like you're suspended in time because you're in non-attachment, complete neutrality. And so there's also, when you're in that, there's no judgment, right? And I know I talked about no judgment or non-judgment the other day, and it's so important because when we go into neutrality, there's really, not only are you not really having thoughts about anything, like sometimes my husband will say, what do you think about this? I really don't. I'm not thinking about that. Like I have no thoughts about that. And that's not necessarily a good or bad thing. It's just a thing that happens when you start to really attune your systems to this space of neutrality. It's not the same as I don't care, because I don't care is like a thought, right? It's not a thing. It's no thing to me. I'm neutral. It's nothing. No thing. And so the other thing that I think would be really helpful for people to understand about neutrality and accessing neutrality is that before you can access neutrality, you must have full command of your central nervous system. The lack of commanding your energy, your central nervous system, causes it to be very difficult to go into that space of neutrality. Now, a lot of people, when we talk about the central nervous system, they say, oh, are you a doctor? Oh, are you a therapist? Oh, are you, a practitioner of mindfulness? And the answer is no. No. I do not follow a dogma. I follow energy psychology. I follow patterns. And what's important about the central nervous system is that if you don't command it, if you don't command your own energy, something will. Something, someone else, some other energy will command it. Okay, yeah, I am replying afterwards, but I do not answer questions that are silly and not applied to the topic. So thank you. It's just the truth, because the central nervous system is far more important than how old am I? What the hell does that even mean? Okay, so the central nervous system must be commanded, and you need to command it every day. And when you have full command over your central nervous system, it will change how your brain operates. It will change how your heart is flowing in the circuitry. It will change all of the circuitry. So really understanding how to command your central nervous system is important. And what I have found, nobody, and most, not nobody, but very few people understand how and why the central nervous system is so important. And the only people that I have come across that really understand fundamentally the importance of that are people who are on the spiritual journey, because they understand that your body is, every aspect of your body has consciousness. And when you lose parts of your body commanding, like you feel anxious, you feel depressed, you feel, and you get overwhelmed, that's going to always correlate with your central nervous system. So you really want to understand your central nervous system. You want to command your central nervous system, and you want to get more in tune with how to bring your central nervous system into that no space, that no thing space of neutrality. And when you're in a space of neutrality, then you really do access higher levels of consciousness much easier. So what I was going to say, and I lost my train of thought, I was going to say a lot of people who do not command their central nervous system have their thoughts running and racing, and they also will say very often that they struggle with meditations or sitting still or being in silence. So it's really important. Hi, Jono, good to see you. So it's really important to understand your central nervous system is very important to attaining the space of neutrality. So if you haven't commanded your central nervous system, that would be a good start. The next thing is to notice that you don't have thoughts when you're neutral. You will notice a calmness. So almost every single client that I've ever had, at the end of the session, I'll ask, do you have any questions? Do you have any thoughts? And usually the answer is, I have no thoughts. That's neutrality. You want to be walking in that space of neutrality as frequently as possible. And that requires an inner connection. It requires congruency, and it requires that your nervous system be commanded. Okay, so this is part 3 of expanding your consciousness and really talking about neutrality. So let me just see, is there any other aspect of neutrality that would be supportive for your growth? I guess the final comment is that being neutral, having the access to neutrality is a practice. And it's not just a meditative practice. It's a practice that you do all the time. So for example, for when I train myself, what I would do is, and I don't recommend this, I'm just telling you what I've done, and I've never heard anybody else doing this. It was just what I was intuitively guided to do, is I would put on shows or TV shows or things that I knew would trigger me to go out of neutrality. And so I would build that inner strength to stay, oh, this is triggering, and I would bring myself right back. So I would be able to witness my mind and bring myself right back to neutrality. That means I could still see what I'm seeing, I could still perceive it, but I'm not attached to it. It's not dictating to me. And I think this is how a lot of people get sucked into believing things that they believe, is because they have not learned how to command their body and their attention. So now I will say that activity that I was intuitively guided to do, it's not easy. But if you're sitting by yourself and you're watching a show, in my opinion, the show should be forming a way for you to become stronger, not weaker. And most entertainment is really programmed to weaken the human systems by this thing called escapism consciousness. And neutrality is, hi Mike, good to see you. Escape it. A salvo! My goodness, good for you. Good to see you here. So escapism consciousness is really what the scrolling is. It's what the TV is. And so you really want to the best of your ability, use media to strengthen your systems. Okay, I'm going to see what questions you have. I got so excited to see you here, Salvo. It's been a while. Okay. Okay, let's see. Okay. Zoya, if you could instantly gain any skill or knowledge, what would it be and why? I think you asked me a question like this before. If I can instantly gain any skill or knowledge, well, I think I'd want to know more about my history, my DNA history, my starseed lineage, my galactic history. I think I would want to know more of that history so I could navigate the current landscape much easier. That's why. That's an interesting question, Zoya. I'm curious why you like these questions about me. If I had a chance to live in any historical era, which would you choose to live? I think we're living in crazy times right now, so I'm going to choose to answer this question like this. Okay, so Zoya's question is, if you had a chance to live in any historical era, which one would you choose and why? I would choose to be alive now because this is what my soul has requested and ascribed to as a powerful place for me to be. And I trust my soul is here to guide me on my path to greater enlightenment and to be in greater service to humanity. So I would choose to be here now. I do think the path has not been easy, Zoya, nor has yours probably. But I would say I really think we're living in exciting times, and I'm learning every day about how crazy these times are. And I just think, well, we're lucky to be alive. We're lucky to be alive. There's a lot of people that are unalive these days, and for various reasons that aren't very healthy or having challenges, and nobody is untouched by what's happening to humanity here. But I feel very fortunate to be alive. I feel fortunate to be here. I feel fortunate to be able to communicate with you all here on YouTube and have these interesting questions asked and to ponder things differently. And I think, there's no place I'd rather be. And I think that's my honest answer. I can't think of any place I'd rather be. No. But thank you for that interesting question. What's the most inspiring piece of advice you ever received, and how has it influenced your life? I guess my mother said the only limits you have are the ones that you place on yourself. So as an adult, as I understand that's really given me the latitude and the freedom to really stretch myself and to move beyond what I even believe is possible. And if I really, I challenge things a lot. I challenge what I believe. I challenge what I think. When I'm doing healing experiences for myself, I'm like, is there a different way to do this that's easier? And I always get an answer. So, sometimes I forget to ask for the easier way because I've been, our humanity has been conditioned to do things the hard way. And when you listen to spirit, things are always much easier. I would say my mother's advice was very formative to me because I felt like very unrestricted, especially because as a child I had a learning disability, and they tend to put people in, different what do you call them? Different lanes of abilities, and I really found that school was quite limiting. So it was nice that my mother said, you're not limited, you know. Jono is saying, I find calm and neutrality easy, but I can feel other people's emotions intensely sometimes. Jono, that would mean that you have a vulnerability in your field, and so you want to shore up all vulnerabilities and weaknesses. Empaths should not be taken out. That's called a wounded healer. So the wounded healer is the one that feels everything from everybody else. To feel does not mean you should be taken out. You want to really make sure you're shoring up any vulnerabilities, weaknesses, holes, gaps. And I've even worked with somebody who found like a pinhole into my field because I had really done a good job. But, you know, pinholes, holes are holes. So you want to find all those and like ensure those up. Zoya is saying, if you could send a message to your future self, what would you say? What would I say to my future self? I think I would say enjoy the journey. Enjoy the journey. I think too many people are trying to rush through the journey and they're not really enjoying the journey. Even when you're sick and hurt, and even Mick has been so vulnerable sharing his physical challenges and not being able to do so much. Like using those opportunities of pure stillness to connect. I think that's so important. So like, even though I don't enjoy being in pain, when I can learn how to hack it and be in meditation for 12 hours, even though the pain is excruciating, I'll sit and meditate. I will meditate every hour on the hour to bring myself back into alignment. It's not easy to do that, but I would say enjoy the journey, even the difficult parts. Like find the lessons in those experiences. Salvo is saying Merry Christmas. Thank you so much, Salvo. Good to see you here. Can neutrality be negative in certain situations? I honestly, I can't see any negativity that can come from being neutral. I can see other people not being comfortable with you being neutral and saying you're not neutral and judging you, but I can't see anything negative from actually being in the state of neutrality at all, because it's a place of pure expansion. That's where consciousness can expand very, very easily, but it cannot expand when the mind is distracting. So I don't think so, Salvo. Just my opinion there, though. Jono is saying, I've tried exposure therapy to triggers so that I can remain calm in situations. It really works. Oh, good for you. I guess that's what mine was called, exposure therapy. I don't know. I wouldn't call it exposure therapy, but maybe it was. I just call it learning. I think therapy is not really productive. I just call it learning. So for me, that's learning. Is neutrality ever possible, or do personal biases inevitably influence our decisions and actions? Neutrality is always possible. Always possible. It is, I mean, it's always possible. And do personal biases inevitably influence our decisions and our actions? I would say your personal biases will influence you as much as you have not done your work to disconnect from those and really challenge yourself to learn to be more neutral and to be not so identified with your personality. I think a lot of people have identified their personality as it's always going to be this way, and we change. We can change. Not everybody changes. I change. You know, I'm different than I was 6 months ago. I'm different than I was a year ago. I experience my physical body totally different than I did last year at this time. So, you know, is neutrality possible? I think it is possible. I think I know I experience it, and I know other people that I'm in communion with, they experience it. My clients experience it. Now, holding neutrality, Zoya, it requires that you do work. It requires that you learn. It requires that you challenge your beliefs. It requires that you have like really astute awareness of when your mind is going off the rails. And that takes practice. Does neutrality in science always promote objectivity, or can sometimes hinder progress and innovation? I don't know about neutrality in science. I'm not a science person here. I think that there's been a lot of lies told about science. What I do know about data, Zoya, is this, is that any data that we have is open to perception, and that perception is always going to be based on the perceiver, and we all have different perceptions, and what data means to you might mean different to me. And so does neutrality hinder progress and innovation? I think that's where progress and innovation really stem from. That's where creation begins, is in the state of neutrality. It's in the beginning, right? There was the word, but before there is a word, there is neutrality, there's connecting. There's nothing, it's not that nothing happens in a state of neutrality. It's that aspects that you're so conditioned to be plugged into are not running the show. So maybe that's a different perspective. Eric says, Merry Christmas, everybody. Merry Christmas. Back to you, Eric. Hi, Mariah. What do you do if your toxic bestie told you that she has someone else that is her bestie? Kaylee, because that's happening to me right now. Oh, I'm so sorry, Mariah. Sometimes friends could be cruel. And, we can have more than one friend. We can have more than one bestie. We don't have to be the best bestie. So I would ask yourself, Mariah, are you being your best friend? And that's what I would ask. Be your own best friend. That's really important, because when you are your own best friend, you can have values and boundaries that keep you stable. And it's okay that Kaylee has another best friend. Besties change as you change. And maybe you and your friends are changing in different ways. I don't know. But the fact that you're saying your bestie is toxic tells me that, you're not really her friend either, because you're calling her toxic. So friends don't call each other names. Good friends don't. So Mariah, maybe you have some reflection that needs to be done, and there's a lot of learning in this situation for you. Not easy learning, but learning. Hi, Peter. Jono, I feel lucky to be on my spiritual path as I have faith and love, feeling aligned in a time of separation. Others might catastrophize. Well, lots of people catastrophize, yeah. And that's because a lot of people have unhealed wounds. And, most people have unhealed wounds. It's our responsibility to heal them. When we have our unhealed wounds healed, we don't get triggered as much. Beautiful within. Good to see you here. Did you change your name? I love it. I love the name. Hi, Peter. I need to learn stillness. Beautiful within. Stillness is a practice. And it comes with self-mastery. Self-mastery. Jonah says, fill the gaps in my field. I'll try to find some actions to take for your advice. Yeah, bring in your spirit. You have to bring in your spirit. Beautiful Within says, I have ADHD and that explains why I'm always so busy. You know, I'm not a fan of these diagnoses or these things, behaviors, ADHD. So what is ADHD? It's a lack of discipline. And the fact that it's been diagnosed by a doctor kind of authorizes people to not create discipline within themselves. But it can be done. You can do it. It is a requirement for attaining higher spiritual aspects of being, and you can do that. And I would first recommend that do not identify with something that brings you away from being present and still, right? And ADHD is an identification that brings side of your and aligns to a way of being and a behavior that brings you more separation. Really suggest shift. But being busy doesn't mean you can't be calm. So how we do one thing is how we do everything. So you want to start to strengthen that calmness within, and it will change. And beauty within, you missed it, but I talked a lot about the central nervous system at the beginning of this video. And really learning to command your central nervous system will change how your brain is operating. So try to really focus on doing something with that, if it aligns. Again, take whatever resonates for you, leave the rest behind, but commander of our body. Mick is saying, I had a disability keeping up with maths and English, but excelled in sports and arts. I was very complex, but very open and honest. I was diagnosed, I think in like kindergarten or first grade with dyslexia. And also I had to do a lot of eye strengthening things. I remember doing that as a kid with my mom for a long time. But actually, I wonder, now that I say that, I wonder if I started doing my eye strengthening exercises again, that would change my need for glasses. I gotta write that down. Eye strengthening. I did it when I was a kid. I didn't need glasses until I started to turn. I think I didn't wear glasses until I turned like 40 something. 40 something. And anyways, yeah, those diagnoses are not who you are. So don't make that your identity. It may help explain certain behaviors. So for me, as somebody who sees things differently, I see patterns. I've always seen patterns, but I didn't always understand the patterns because our educational system doesn't honor that type of seeing like it does seeing and reading comprehension and all that type of thing. But I have always seen patterns, always. So Aya says, being neutral is like being on the fence, but does the have snacks, or are you just stuck there, confused, hoping someone else will make a decision? I've never heard that analogy. I really think there shouldn't be a lot of confusion being neutral, because it's really like not being in full attachment to the thinking mind. It means that you're not attached to. So a thought could come by and it'll just go by. You're not like holding on to it, like following the thought like a lot of people do. Being neutral is just this inner stillness that you have within you. Everybody has it. And if you're connecting with it on a regular basis, it will change how you operate. Neutrality connects you to higher levels of consciousness. So it's not at all like being stuck on a fence. Abundance is everything. Hey, this is Pauline. Hi, Pauline. I'm just exhausted. I'm at university. I need to put myself first. I'm overweight and need to be intentional to focus on how to do that. Pauline here, there is a intention setting to synchronicity program here. I would highly recommend that. And that will help you get really clear and regular and stable and supported in setting intentions, which is fundamental to alignment, okay? And you're saying that you're overweight, but don't focus on your weight as much as focus on the foods that nourish you. Because oftentimes when we're in college and university, we have stresses, we have social stresses, we have exam stresses, we have pressures that don't make sense. And so really focus on the foods that you're eating. And are they nurturing you? Are they nutritious? And that should help. Those two things. Hello, Sabra. Good to see you. How are the monkeys? Beautiful Within says, I have calmness and I can be humble, but stillness is another one I can add to my list. Beautiful. It's next level. It's next level, Beautiful Within. I would say it really, there's a distinct, in my personal opinion, there's a distinct difference between calmness and stillness in the frequency. And it's kind of like paying attention to silence. When you listen to silence, silence will take on different tones and frequencies depending on what the situation is. So for example, if you walk into a room and it's quiet, that doesn't mean it's still, right? And you walk into the room and it's quiet and somebody's getting the silent treatment, you will feel that. So the frequencies shift and change. So what I would offer to you, Beautiful Within, is just to ask your higher self to show you the distinction between calmness and stillness. See what happens. Let me know. Okay, Zoya say neutrality. When you stand so far in the middle that people are wondering if you just waiting for the two sides to sort it out for themselves while they take a nap. Cute, Zoya, cute. You know, neutrality really, when you have access to your own inner wisdom, you will see when you need to intervene or not. When I was younger, I've always been very direct and pretty clear, and I've always been an advocate for others. But what I learned in one of my classes in grad school, it was an experiential program, what I learned is oftentimes my speaking really, I didn't leave enough space for other people to come in. And so I really pay attention to that now, like making sure that I either invite others to come forward or to leave the space open for them to come forward and silently invite them. But let's be honest, even though you're inviting people to participate in a more active role than they might normally do, they don't do it. Oftentimes they will resist it. So resistance is really a big play that keeps people from neutrality. Sabra, how is Christmas preparation? You know, I'm just going to be honest with you all. I never have been a Christmas person, ever. So Christmas is not a big thing for me. But I respect everybody else. It's a day off here. That's what I see it as. But I wish you all a happy holidays. I like meaningful gifts. I don't like gifts that are just given out of obligation. And oftentimes I find that's what holidays are. They're gifts given out of obligation. And that really feels false to me. Now, when people are giving me a gift that's from their heart, I appreciate it. But I find that a lot of people just feel obligated. And I don't like that. I don't ever want to be an obligation to anybody. Thank you so much, Beautiful Within. You didn't answer my question. Did you change your name or did you For some reason, I thought it was a different name. I thought it was intense emotions. Zoya is asking, can a truly neutral person ever choose a favorite color? Yes, we can have preferences and still be neutral. Or do they wear beige and avoid offending anybody? You know, I really like that beige look, but it doesn't look good on me. Zoya, I appreciate your sense of humor. I really do. I love it. It's very smart. Funny. Okay, Sabra is saying, how your channel will grow. Any ideas about it? I don't focus on growing the channel. It's exciting when there's a lot other people on here, and but there's been times we've had hundreds of people on here, and there's just like hundreds of bots. So I'd rather have people who are really dedicated to growing their consciousness than just having a bunch of people who subscribe and don't watch. So I like this discussion between us. Abundance in everything. How to own self if you are depending on someone financially and the person is cheating. Whoa. Wow. Well, first of all, take anything that I say that resonates and leave the rest behind. I will say this, like, you are the owner and the full 100% person who is responsible for you. Nobody else is fully responsible, unless you're a child, nobody else is responsible for how you think, how you feel, how you behave, but you. So that is separate than this dysfunctional relationship that you seem to have gotten yourself into. So how you unravel that, it depends on how rapid you want change. Go and get a job is what I would say. Go find a way to get money and find a new place to call home, because this person that's supporting you financially and potentially is cheating is not a healthy relationship, period. And your language here of not owning yourself is a perfect example of it. So how you're thinking about yourself is problematic. So I would correct your thinking. Go into correct thinking. Go into your heart. Go into conscious action. There's a ton of videos here on conscious action. Zoya says, I'm reading a book on anti-gravity. It's impossible to put down. Oh, congratulations. Love it. Love it. There is a lot of really neat books out there. Oh, you did? Okay, so it is you. Okay. I like this one. This one is more fitting. It's softer, less edgy. But us direct people, we notice these things. I love this new name. Change is afoot. Change is happening. I love it. I love it. Thank you for sharing. I wasn't sure. I wasn't diagnosed. I think I have ADHD because I'm so active. Okay, good. Then you don't have to worry about identification. Just stop saying that you have it. And don't say that you think you have it. What you want to do is know what the truth is. And the truth is you're working on becoming more still within. First step. If you don't want to have a session with me, that's fine. You need to figure out and find a way to fully own your central nervous system. And you must understand when your central nervous system is activated or not. If you are hyperactive, chances are your nervous system is going to be running. And so you want to get out of fight or flight. Somebody's saying my internet is slow. Sabra says, I used to drink carrot and beet juice every day in the winters. It's good for eyesight. Oh, I don't like carrots though. Beetroot. I have beets, and I drink beet juice almost every day. But I don't do carrots because I don't like carrots. They're too sweet. But good tip. Oh, somebody. Okay, hold on, y'all. Disconnect. I don't know. Disconnect. I don't know. I don't know what's happening with my internet. Sorry, you guys. Do I need to go off and turn off? Mick is saying exactly. I felt I was so far ahead in other ways, but early school for me was awful. Yeah, we're good. Abundance in everything. You are welcome. And go take, I recommend that intention setting for everybody. That class is really good. Sabra is saying he lost 20 kgs in 45 days. Oh, wow. Good for you. Sabra has a lot of weight loss tips here, y'all. No soft drinks or alcohol. Yep. You got to listen to your body. I wonder if it's this I'm not sure. Thank you, Jono. Take care. Okay, well, it's been about 46 minutes. Sorry. I'm going to go off now. I have a big day today this afternoon, so I wanted to get on here a little bit earlier than normal. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for participating. Thank you for sharing yourselves and being willing to expand in consciousness. We are all in this together. I hope you have a great day. I'm Kiana Sage, and I guide people to peace. Have a great day. Bye. See you tomorrow.